Arsenal implode,
You
having
see.
been in control
this
at
mischief.
Wolves as David Luiz and Ben Leno are both sent off
Are you
to allow
serious?
host to come from behind to win, with Jean Moutinho wonder strike sealing victory.
I said
Bernard,
newspaper review, not
we're both
internet.
here.
media.
I'm online right now. I'm starting from online.
Okay.
Daily
Both
Mail.
here.
Okay, let me come to you.
We're
I'm
both
starting
here.
from Daily Mail.
Okay,
from
good morning.
home
Go to,
Man
your,
U.
go to your stories.
So you don't want me to do the head
No, I
review?
don't want you to do that. Those things. We are not interested in that.
Okay, Ghanaian Times. We were deceived to leave National Coalition Center. This is Dr. Kwesa White. He took the witness stand yesterday in the election petition case. Yeah, and he talked about that. I'm sure we'll go into details. COVID-19. Adhere to proper preparation of hydrogen peroxide. Professor Ayete advises. This hydrogen peroxide thing.
Yes.
Charlie, it's becoming something. Anyway, GHS worried over COVID-19 surge at workplace, and cop killed, another injured by highway robbers.
Front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, Bernard. New COVID-19 variant can escalate. GHS warns against disregard for safety protocols. President has not banned marriages, says Kujopon Kroma. On the election petition front page, you have Dr. Michael Kwesa White says we didn't abandon strong room.
The Finder, COVID-19, 3,500 tests conducted daily with an 8.7% positivity rate. 91.2% are discharged, and the UK COVID-19 variant is spreading faster in Ghana. Also, EC boss did not personally instruct me to leave the strong room, says Dr. White. Marriage ceremonies are not banned, says Kujopon Kruma. Face mask wearing increases from 10% to 42% in Accra. Government commits to work with anti-corruption institutions and comply with beneficial ownership disclosure regulations or face sanctions. That's the Registrar General talking.
Front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper, President appoints 11 Council of State members. Jean Mensah mounts witness box today as Supreme Court discharges Mahama's witnesses.
All right, the Chronicle. Chachu flares up in court. You are harassing my witness, my lord. I did not personally speak with EC boss, says Kwesa White. And EC lawyer Justin Amenuvo cross-examines Dr. Kwesa White. And you can read that in the Chronicle.
The front page of the Daily Guide says, you've amused because Mahama lost. EC lawyer to witness 8 more COVID-19 deaths recorded. Robbers kill policeman in Eastern region, and sad news again, General Hamidu passes on.
The New Crusading Guide. Kwesa White and Rojo failed Mahama, left EC strong room at crucial moment. Also, Ada unemployed youth, chiefs and elders walk in solidarity with Electrochem for jobs and development. Pass legislation on crowdfunding to protect businesses. This is John Kuma to Parliament. TAG steps up nose masks wearing campaign in Central Market. And Ministers of God in Kaswa, Lord Hawakumson's appointment.
Front page of the Herald newspaper. Akufo-Addo runs out of human resources. Retains his 14 appointees to Council of State as ministers and presidential staffers. Ghana Water Headquarters shuts down over COVID. And you have the Kwesa White appearance in the witness dock, as well as President Mahama on the front page of the paper ahead of today's hearing.
The Ghanaian Observer, 2020 election petition. Mahama's second witness quizzed, and Dr. Michael Kwesa White is pictured there. 2020 election petition. Upon Nkrumah lambasts NDC over negative comments against Supreme Court judges. Also, Akufo-Addo names 11 Council of State members, and government steps up coronavirus awareness campaign as active cases reach 5,515.
Finally, from me, Bernard, the front page of the BNFT, Dr. Ernest Addison needs to be a Solomon and Machiavelli. This is coming from Kenneth Kwamena Thompson. Stock market tipped to rebound strongly amid new pandemic wave, according to new data bank research. And GRA looks to e-commerce sector to increase revenues.
Right. The Informer. Approval of herbal medicine for COVID-19 clinical trial. Traditional herbalists expose FDA and say they were not consulted. Also, as Akufo-Addo revisits restrictions, Speaker goes wild. He vows to crack the whip on MPs refusing to submit themselves for COVID-19 tests. And abuse of military profession. Varsity Don kicks against practice and calls for an end to officers being used as quote, fufu pounders. And while one group is lauding Hawa Kumson's appointment, there's another group telling Parliament, reject Hawa Kumson.
Okay, CityNewsroom.com, a few more angles. Election petition, our story isn't fake. Jean Mensah tricked us into leaving strong room. This is Kwesa White. Also, 20 coronavirus cases recorded in schools in Accra. And of course, John Mahama files application to inspect EC's documents. Then some of our lead stories. Organized private burials to decongest morgues. Mortuary workers to the public. Also, government ban full-blown wedding ceremonies, not marriages. This is the information minister designate. And don't invest in Chi Century when it's a Ponzi scheme. Iyoko cautions Ghanaians. Now, citybusinessnews.com. Eka Energy appoints Khadija Amo as CEO of Eka Ghana. Adverse impact of COVID causes decline in exports and imports according to BOG data. And event vendors lament impact of new restrictions on their businesses. My journal online, Mahama files new application at Supreme Court to inspect documents of EC. Also, Michael Pesawai says, I did not personally speak to Jean Mensah. This is the issue of requesting us to go out and meet the petitioner. And senior broking officer reportedly dies of COVID-19 after failing to secure a bed at a health facility. So this is pretty serious. Now, if you go to Star News, you are harassing my witness. Statue clashes with Justice Appel. Also, Parliament fumes over Akufo-Addo's snub in Council of State selection. And police officer shot dead in highway robbery at Kwai Bibrim. GNA is talking about COVID. Ghana records 772 new infections. Rich ICU running out of oxygen. And the UK COVID variant is spreading faster in Ghana, according to Ghana Health Service. So Ghana News Agency is doing a lot of COVID-19 stories this morning. So let's get into some of the details, guys.
Okay, let's start with COVID.
Yeah.
Before we get to the courts. Front page of the Daily Graphic, new COVID-19 variants can escalate. The Ghana Health Service says it has identified a wide community spread of the mutated UK variant of the COVID-19 that can take over the traditional one if the public continues to defy the safety protocols. It said this was a cause for worry because the UK variant had a higher and faster rate of spread, results in severe. Yeah, that's what.
Yes, it's a type
sickness with high numbers of people exposed to it falling sick, unlike the traditional form of the virus. Addressing the media at the minister's briefing, a national platform for providing updates on the national COVID-19 situation and response in Accra today, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabaji, reiterated the need for the public to enhance adherence to the safety protocols. The Director General reiterated the fact that during the last two surge incidents, 21% of recorded cases were falling sick, with majority being asymptomatic, but currently the situation was different, with 32% falling sick. He said the widely spreading new variant was identified when the service intensified its community surveillance to ascertain whether the new COVID-19 variant was spreading within communities.
Kofi, did you have the finder? Because it says something
yes.
about testing.
Yes, so the Finder does have a couple of COVID stories. COVID-19, 3,500 tests are being conducted daily. So this is also relating to the press conference held by the DG of the Ghana Health Service. And a breakdown of some of the information here. There's an 8.7% positivity rate, but 91.2% are discharged or discoveries. Free testing, he did emphasize that and reiterated that testing for COVID-19 in public health laboratories is free. That, yes, the UK COVID-19 variant is spreading faster. There is an increase in workplace infections. So he's urging, again, both public and private organizations to adopt the shift system and virtual platforms. 11 out of 200 children under 5 are testing positive for COVID-19 or have tested positive at Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. But not to be worried, because he still says that there's a limited outbreak of COVID-19 cases in schools. He said 20 positive cases have been recorded cumulatively in some schools, as you read.
But did he tell us the impact it's having on the kids? You see, it's one thing to test positive.
Another thing to be sick or asymptomatic.
So it would have been nice for him to tell us what percentage of the children who test actually do fall sick. Then, because the being positive isn't as wild, because a lot of are asymptomatic. All right. But that's a very good story. Now, Kofi, there's a couple of angles here. Organized private burials. I'll come back to the thing you're doing. To decongest morgues, mortuary workers to public. Story on citynewsroom.com. Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana is warning of congestion at mortuaries in the coming days following the ban on funeral celebrations and large gatherings. According to the association, some of their facilities can no more receive remains because of the rise in COVID deaths. Now, in an interview with Citi News, General Secretary of Association of Mortuary Workers, Richard Kofi Jordan, called on the public to resort to private burials during this period to free up space within the mortuaries. Then, still on this thing you were reading, GNA's angles. So, a couple of things on yesterday's program. Number one, Rich ICU running out of oxygen. Okay, and Kojajman has been going there probably once a week. This story is written by Linda Nadede Aite. It says the COVID-19 intensive care unit of Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Rich, is running out of oxygen. This is as a result of increasing number of critical care and severe cases of COVID-19 reported at the facility. Dr. Manola Hiable, The COVID-19 case management lead at the hospital told GNA in an interview that critical care beds at the facility had been occupied since January the 8th with high demand for oxygen. Consequently, the center is said to be in urgent need of higher volumes of oxygen, as each patient at the ICU requires 15 liters per minute. Now, 1 liter is like 3 Coca-Cola bottles, the small one. So and you require 15 liters per minute. 15 liters per minute, with patients staying on oxygen for at least 2 weeks. How many minutes are in a day? Multiply that by 2 weeks. Dr. Ahiabless said the situation had been alarming since the beginning of 2021 because more cases referred to the facility were in critical condition. He said after January the 8th, the unit had to expand its 8-bed facility to 16 as it received more referrals from across the Greater Accra region. Again, we know this from the interviews Kojo Ajima has been having with the same person. But this one is pretty dire. Now, it says as of February the 1st, when the GNF visited the facility, 15 out of the 16 critical care beds were occupied. And he says he has seen about 50 severe to critical cases from 1st to 31st January. 20 of the number recovered and discharged, 18 died, and 13 are still on admission. So look at that, 50 severe, 20 discharged, 18 died, 13 still on admission. And then finally on COVID.
No, not finally.
Okay, the UK COVID variant is spreading faster in Ghana. Again, Ghana Health Service says that the trend of the spread of the UK variant could overtake the traditional ones in existence in Ghanaian communities if people fail to strictly observe the preventive and safety protocols put in place by the government. And this was said by no mean a person than Dr. Patrick Boaji, DGGHS, said on Tuesday during the COVID update.
A clarification has also come through from the information minister designate on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. President has not banned marriages. The minister designate for information, Mr. Kojo Ponkuma, has made clarification that the latest ban on social events, as announced by the president, Senador Akufo-Addo, does not stop people from going through their formal marriage rights. What is not allowed under the latest ban are the social activities and receptions to celebrate marriages. Also, with religious meetings allowed, burial services could be held within their agreed stipulated protocols, but only 25 people will be allowed to go to the cemetery afterwards for private burials as directed.
All right, the Ghanaian Times, page 14, face mask wearing is low in markets, lorry parks, and traffic intersections. A survey conducted by the Ghana Health Service on January 29th to assess the adherence to wearing of face masks in the Greater Accra region revealed that incorrect wearing of face masks was high in market centers, lorry parks, traffic intersections, and underheads. The survey revealed 3 communities in the region where people did not wear face masks correctly as Nima Market, Lorry Station, and Osu Market entrance. This was conducted in 6 districts and 43 communities. It included Ayawaso West, Ayawaso East. You can read more. Dr. Patrick Boaji again announced this during this COVID-19 media update. He said generally face mask wearing had improved compared to October last year, where 72% of people were not wearing masks. And he says now that in that survey, the wearing of face masks has increased from 10% to 42%, but those not wearing nose masks correctly also declined from 72% to 36%.
Let's go to the Supreme Court now, Bernard. On the front page of the Daily Guide says that you've vamoosed because Mahama lost. EC lawyer to witness. Lawyer for the Electoral Commission has challenged claims by one of former President John Mahama's witnesses that he left the National Coalition Center of the EC because he and his colleague were instructed by the EC boss to do so. According to Justin Amenuvo, counsel for the EC, the real reason the witness, Dr. Michael Kwesa-White, and his colleague Joseph Meto-Nunu, vamoosed from the EC strong room was that they had realized Mr. Mahama had lost the election. Dr. Kwesa-White, one of the 2 agents who represented the former president at the National Coalition Center, in his witness statement, filed as part of the petition by Mr. Mahama challenging the declaration of President Akufo-Addo as winner by the EC, indicated that he noticed many material irregularities during the entire process of the December 7 presidential election.
All right, in the Chronicle, you are harassing my witness, my lord. Mr. Chachu Chikata, lead counsel for the petitioner John Dramani Mahama in the 2020 presidential election petition, flared up in court yesterday following what he described as harassment of his witness. His outburst followed what he also said was an opinion being put to his witness after the latter had answered questions within a certain context. The witness, Dr. Michael Kwesa-White, who is the second witness for the petitioner, had on several instances told the court that the chairperson of the first respondent asked or instructed he and Rojo Metalnunu, who were agents of the petitioner at the National Collation Center, to go and consult Mr. John Dramani Mahama on some pressing issues regarding irregularities they detected. He indicated, whilst in the witness box, that they obliged to the instruction in good faith so as to have the concerns of the petitioner addressed before the result of the election was declared. His narrative was based on a follow-up question from counsel for the first and second respondents and even some members of the bench. However, one of the panel members, having engaged the witness for some time on the reason they abandoned their main purpose for being in the strong room, put it to the witness that they did not help the cause of the petitioner. And that was when Mr. Chika.
In fact, the headline we use is
that.
interesting. Our story isn't fake. Jean Mensah tricked us into leaving strong room. This is a story by Jonas Nyabo that the second witness for John Mahama has insisted that the chairperson of the EC deceived him or he and Rojo Metalnunu to leave the commission strong room before the declaration of the results. Now, there are a couple more angles to this. I don't know if you guys are still interested or whether we should just... So, for example, Mahama has filed for... Okay, Mahama's team, the petitioner's team, has filed to inspect documents of the EC. So this story says there are alleged documents... Okay, so let's go from the beginning. Council for Petitioner Election 2020 has filed a motion for an order compelling the Electoral Commission to produce for inspection some documents relating to the 2020 polls. The alleged documents are the originals of constituency presidential election results collation forms, the Form 9 for all constituencies in Ghana, and originals of constituency presidential election results summary sheet Form 10 for all constituencies, of which all parties that took part in the December polls already have in their possession. They're also seeking originals of Form 11, Form 12. They are seeking original declaration of the presidential results, Form 13, records of alleged update of the purported declaration, and other things. Now, Mr. Chachu is expected to move the motion before the court today, and we're going to be doing that live from 9:30 on Citi
and if
FM
time
and
allows
CTV.
it, the EC chair.
Yes.
Is expected
So we don't know
to
how
have
long
the
these
witness
arguments
to-
over this
yeah,
particular one will
if
take,
there
but
is
then she's expected to take the witness stand.
I'll stay in court though,
Okay.
in Takrady.
All right.
On page 6 of the Daily Guide, human skull bones found on kidnapper's tablet.
Oh, Lord.
The chief state attorney prosecuting the case involving the kidnapping and subsequent murder of the four girls in Takrady revealed yesterday that photographs of a human skull and some bones were found in the gallery of the tablet retrieved from Samuel Odetok Wells, the first accused person in the case. Mr. Wells, who has been charged alongside John Orji, opened his defense at the Second High Court on Monday, led in evidence by his counsel George Isifo and Sam. The chief state attorney, Patience Klinogo, who was cross-examining Mr. Wells yesterday as the accused person. The tablet is yours. And you have the photo of yourself and your friend Papa as the wallpaper. And the accused said yes. She continued, in the gallery you have the picture of your girlfriend, Emily Alimo, and Mr. Wells answered in the affirmative. The chief state attorney asked again, you also have pictures of human skull and some bones in the gallery. And the prosecutor went on to show the picture of the bones and the human skull on the accused phone, which was an exhibit in court to him in the witness box. Mr. Wells initially said he knew nothing about the picture, but later said it was artwork.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, let's come back to you.
Let's come back. Let's go to Parliament,
Yes.
shall we? Where the Speaker is criticizing the President's appointments to Council of State. Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, has expressed reservations with the public announcement of the President's appointment of a category of persons to the Council of State without consultation with the House. The President got it wrong, Mr. Bagbin said on the floor of the House in Accra yesterday. The Speaker said the decision by Jubilee House to publish the names of the category of persons to be appointed without consultation with Parliament was a violation of Article 89 2A of the 1992 Constitution. The provision enjoins the President to appoint a category of persons to the Council, quote, in consultation with Parliament. A statement issued by the Director of Communication at the Seat of Government, Eugene Ahin, on Monday announced the people who had been appointed. But the attention of the House was drawn to the communication by Minority Leader and NDC MP for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, who contended that Parliament was not consulted before the list went public.
The Herald's version is that the president has run out of human resources. And if you go to page 3 of the paper, it says that the president has run out, the President Akufo-Addo has run out of ideas and human resources in the appointments of persons he tends to run the country because he's not bringing on board any fresh personalities. And this is regarding the reappointment of the members of the Council of State. And according to the paper, the action gives the impression that a party like the NPP lacks the needed human resources to run the country. Party insiders have argued that there is frustration and grumbling within the NPP over the retention of some of the appointees.
Well, it looks like hydrogen peroxide is the thing of the moment now. So adhere to proper preparation of hydrogen peroxide. This is from Professor Ayete. All right. The public have been advised to strictly adhere to the right preparation of hydrogen peroxide to help protect them against the coronavirus pandemic. According to Reverend Emeritus Professor Andrew Seth Ayete, lead researcher on the traditional oral hygiene fluid, failure to go by the accurate measurement may not bring about the desired results and will make one still susceptible to the pandemic. Quote, the concentrations for each mixture are key to both efficacy and safety of the hydrogen peroxide use. We do not want people to take it and say it did not work or had some negative effect because the right measurement was not used. He spoke to the Ghanaian Times about this on the back of some social media videos circulating to demonstrate the preparation of hydrogen peroxide for gargling and nose cleansing. So please beware, be careful, people.
Okay.
Well, Bernard, there's a story here. Robbers kill policeman in Eastern region.
Yeah, this is something we
And
got.
I'm
yesterday.
reading this because it's another highway robbery incident. There have been a lot of those recently, Bernard. A police officer has been shot dead by highway robbers at Pramkese in the Kwabi district of the Eastern region.
Pramkese.
The slain officer, identified as Sergeant Moses Tetenati, was part of two others dispatched to foil a robbery attack on the Achim Pramkese Techiman Road. Another officer, identified as Corporal Christian Totime, also received gunshot wounds, but he's on admission at the St. Dominic. Totime. Okay. Thank you. But he's on admission at St. Dominic Hospital, Akwetia, receiving treatment. Now, Bernard, if you go to page 6 of the paper where it continues, information indicated that police at Pramkese received a distress call from commuters that some unidentified gunmen had blocked the motor road and were robbing commuters. The two cops were dispatched aboard a taxi since the station had no official police car.
Wow. Shit.
On reaching a section of the road, they were waylaid and that is where
attacked.
yes, attacked.
Let me do the final Parliament story, then we'll do some business. Parliament releases schedule for vetting for the minister nominees. So yesterday we're speculating about this. So the president has published, Parliament rather, has published a timetable for the vetting of the first batch of ministerial nominees as announced by the president for his second term. Now, the month-long vetting will begin Wednesday, February the 10th. So that's a week today, and end on Tuesday, March the 9th. Now, guess what? Health Minister Designate Kwekwa Jemamen will be the first, as predicted, followed by National Security Minister Designate Kandapa. Then we'll have roads, communication, finance, Tuesday, February 16. It goes on and on and on till the regional ministers. So let me just give you the dates. February 10, Kwekwa Jemamen and Kandapa. February 11, Dominic Nitiwo, Minister for Defense, and Educhu, Minister for Education. So it's looking like the priorities for now. February 12th, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, James Sabunsu. Godfrey Dame, Attorney General, Minister for Justice, also on the February 12th, that's Friday, next week. And then Ambrose Derry, Interior. Then the Monday after that, the 15th, Matthew Poku Prempe, Energy, Shala Koboche, Foreign Affairs, and then Kwesi Amakwanta, Esla, and Ken Ofori Atta. The rest for continue. Let's do some business.
Let's do some business. Let me tell you about this. GRA looks to e-commerce sector to increase.
No, I was interested in the Bank of Ghana,
Machiavelli and Solomon.
Machiavelli, Cocovelli, something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is coming from Kenneth Kwabena Thompson,
who
says that Dr. Ernest Addison needs to be a Solomon and Machiavelli. And basically, Bernard, it's an opinion piece is written. So
okay, on how he's
yes, on what he needs to do to succeed.
Okay, and he's supposed to be Machiavelli and what?
Solomon.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Adverse impact of COVID-19 causes decline in exports and imports. BOG data. Let's be careful. Latest Bank of Ghana data. This is Citi Business News. Indicate that the country's external sector continues to suffer adversely from the impact of coronavirus. According to the data, the value of our total exports decreased to 14.5 billion, down from 16.7, over a billion, almost a billion in decrease. The report also showed a decrease in total imports from 13 billion to 12. So both imports and exports are coming down. We should do local production more.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of local production, approval of herbal medicine for COVID-19 clinical trial. Traditional herbalists expose FDA, say they were not consulted. Now, this is in the Informer. And the Ghana Federation for Traditional Medicine Practitioners has taken issue with the Food and Drugs Authority, claiming the authority did not consult its outfit regarding deliberations leading to the decision to approve so-called Cryptolepis sanguinolenta.
But hold on, how do you
Look,
if somebody sends a sample to FDA and FDA does a test
Charlie,
and decides whether the thing is good or not, Where
say-
in that process are you supposed to be consulted as an association?
So this is where they're saying that when you come to herbal industry, a lot of things happen, and the authority knows that. That is why they put us on the board and other committees. So when they were reluctant in adding us to the new herbal medicine research board that was constituted by the Minister of Health, they ordered that they should add the two of us, myself and the president of the federation, as members. So if anything, we can look at some of these committees. So they are thinking that
But
they are
to
being
link
sidelined.
it to the approval of the new drugs, as if in the approval process itself, the association has a role. That's what I find a bit disturbing. Anyway.
Let me take you international just a minute
Yes.
more. So Nigeria said they're expecting 57 million vaccines over the next few months. And Emirates as well have made an announcement that they'll be making daily COVID-19 vaccine deliveries.
But there's a story
developing
that's
countries.
trending on Nigerian platforms.
What's that?
Judge shocked as DNA test shows that he isn't father of his 3 children.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
And the judge is wearing the wig too.
Charlie.
A Nigerian judge at the Delta State High Court, Justice Anthony Ezonfade Okoradas, has been left in a state of shock after DNA test showed that his first 3 children were not for him. He had those kids with his first wife, who he has since divorced. Judge Okoradas, who made this news public, said in a statement that the DNA test was conducted on the children of his ex-wife, Cecilia Juliet Ototo, who happens to be a lawyer. With a name like this.
Sorry.
Although Okoradas divorced Ototo 11 years ago, it is now the I can't remember what I'm saying. It is now that the issue of who actually fathered the children is coming out. The judge said, sometime during coronavirus lockdown earlier last year, I received information from an anonymous source that indicated that the last of the 3 children from my previous marriage was in fact not my biological child.
So inside that tip.
Due to the COVID restriction, I had to wait till August 2020 to carry out the DNA test. The test, which came out in September 2020, confirmed that I was not the biological father. Consequently, I convened a joint meeting with my extended family on the one side and Cecilia's paternal and maternal side, the Ototo family. Charlie Sani is away. And so he said, let's do tests for everybody, then all the 3.
Do you think
No, but it's a conversation that has happened.
Do you think DNA testing should be routine when children are born?
And it's a big conversation. Look, during the COVID,
you are opening a can of gogomi.
about a month ago, it was a huge debate on Facebook and Twitter about whether a wife can agree to a DNA test once a child is born.
Charlie Okoradas.
Or whether it should be routine.
Cecilia Ototo.
One more.
No, we don't have time. You give money to
Magic
Okoradas.
Man United have got
No,
their mojo
the
back.
allied Okoradas Ototo family.
On every street, in every town, and all across Ghana, everyone has goals. What's your goal?
I want to expand my business.